It's 2025, and honestly, I'm looking forward to this year gaming. A possible Switch 2 and other new releases coming down the line. It is getting exciting. But before we look into the future this year, we want to delve into our past. And so much into our past that we're taking a look at the top 10 retro releases of 2024. My name's Craig with Outta Control Games, and we're going to take a look at remasters, remakes, and even straight ports to the Nintendo Switch and rank our 10 favorite releases of the year. 2024 had me scratching my head with a lot of releases this year, and a lot of it was, why are we getting this and instead of something else? And Mario vs. Donkey Kong was one of those games where we easily could have gotten the GBA version on the Nintendo Switch Online service. And the remake actually does a few things that were quite impressive as far as making the game not just easier for all players. There were definitely some quality of life improvements. Gone is the score attack mode, but also there are some enhancements as far as the graphics and the enemies, making them look more mechanical. Losing lives is definitely a lot harder, so the game is much easier. But, overall, if you struggle with this game on the Game Boy Advance, give the Switch version a try. It definitely makes some improvements that you might enjoy. And continuing the trends of, we got this, was Epic Mickey Rebrush. Now, honestly, I love the Wii game. I would have loved to have seen the second game packaged with it. But seeing this game come to modern platforms and HD visuals with updated controls is pretty great, honestly. I would also love to see a third game announced. Now, who knows? We might get an Epic Mickey 3 at some point. And if we do, I would love to see Donald or Goofy join that cast as a playable character. But I can definitely say this is one of those games that we didn't necessarily need, but you can easily enjoy. Dragon Quest III is another game where I asked, wow, did we really need an HD 2D port of this? And honestly, after someone who has played the 16-bit SNES versions that were imported from Japan, the original 8-bit, as well as tried to play the mobile phone version at some point in time, I can honestly say, yes, we kinda did. While the Super Nintendo version and the original 8-bit NES versions are wonderful, the laundry list of changes that make Dragon Quest III much more palatable in the modern era is absolutely fantastic. Not only does it add voice acting and expand the story, but the amount of gameplay changes as far as equipment and abilities, and, we could just go on and on as other people have before. Now, while we're still waiting on Dragon Quest 1 and 2, I understand why they released 3, but it would have been nice to see the whole trilogy on one cartridge all together there. Now it does make me question, what are they going to do with 1 and 2? We will see. And personally, I have put this one on the back burner so that way I can play 1 and 2 all over again when they come out, and then play 3. And I know 3 is a prequel. I get it. But I am a man of nostalgia. Beyond Good and Evil is one of those games that if you're a fan of the 3D Zeldas, then you definitely need to check this game out if you've never played it. And I mean pre-Breath of the Wild Zelda, especially if you're a fan of Wind Waker or Twilight Princess. Now, that said, this game is just a classic in every sense of the word. And so, the lighting's been updated, sound effects, sound, music, voice acting, everything has gotten a facelift, and there's a few extras such as costumes, that sort of thing. Now, the game still does have a little bit of the PS2, GameCube era frustration, such as the map, but all those things are minor compared to what is a great game. It still does beg the question if we're ever getting Beyond Good and Evil 2, but you know what? Who cares at this point anymore? We have so many other great games to look forward to. So is it Sonic X Shadows Generation, or is it Sonic Cross Shadow Generations? Either way, Sonic Generations is a fantastic game, and getting a Shadow add-on is okay in my book. I actually enjoy playing as Shadow, and the Hedgehog game. And, now that I say that out loud, why didn't we get an HD port or HD remaster of that game instead? Now, honestly, I think we would have been just okay just porting Sonic Generations, but you know what? Either way, Sonic Generations is a fantastic game and revived Sonic in so many different ways, and honestly is the best Xbox 360 PS3 generation Sonic game that you could have played then. And now, I can honestly say that we have had so many great Sonic games thanks to this one, and Superstars is meh, but you know what? Either way, if you haven't played Sonic Generations, this is a great way to do it, especially on the Switch being portable. Shadow of the Ninja Reborn isn't just a remake, it's a remaster in several ways as well. It's absolutely fantastic, and the reason it's not higher on this list is I haven't beaten it yet. It's actually much more difficult than the original release. Now, I love everything about this game. Bosses are bigger, you actually have numerous sub-items you can use, and you can stack them. There's so many changes that are fantastic, but man, the difficulty level on this one is out of this world. The team that developed this game just did an amazing job. I can't gush enough about it. And the 2-player co-op is an absolute must, and what's even better is if you're playing solo, the difficulty is toned down. Either way, if you want to play this solo or co-op, absolutely pick up this gem, and it's very affordable. Star Wars Dark Forces Remastered is the better of the 2 Star Wars remasters from this year. Now, the Battlefront collection left me sad and crying and disappointed, but aside from that, Dark Forces has such a massive influence on Star Wars games moving forward from its original release. It's incredible. Honestly, if you haven't played Dark Forces, this is the better way to do it. The entire game gets a HD art style that makes it more hand-drawn. And you know what? It looks really good, especially in the cutscenes. Now, I can honestly say that if you have played Shadows of the Empire, you put it in first-person mode, and you will see the Dark Forces influence. And if it weren't for Dark Forces, we would never have gotten Jedi Knight, Jedi Knight 3, or any of a lot of the other games that have come since then. So, thank you to the team who remastered Dark Forces. It was a great way and a great time to go back and play it. Monster Hunter Stories on Switch is a thank goodness we finally got this sort of game. Because it came in so late in the life of the 3DS, I personally missed it, and I was so glad to see that it finally got a remaster or port, or technically I guess we could say this is a remaster. Now, it includes voice acting, it includes so many other features as well as a higher frame rate, and now you don't need to be connected online to enjoy all the features of the 3DS version. As quality of life goes, this is a great update to what was a missed opportunity for the 3DS. And honestly, I wish I could have played it on 3DS, but I am so thankful it came to the Switch. How do you make Roller Coaster Tycoon better? Add the first and second game, put them together in one complete pack, and throw it on the Switch with all the DLC. Yes, you lose the mouse controls, which are tied to the joystick, but you know what? It's not that bad as I originally thought it was going to be. I honestly thought this game was just going to sink, but you know what? I absolutely love it. I am such a huge fan of the original Roller Coaster Tycoon 1 and 2 and 3 that it just works. You know what? It looks wonderful, and you don't need any other game in 2025. Just play Roller Coaster Tycoon. I mean, we have like 3 more games on this list to go over. But that said, Roller Coaster Tycoon Complete is absolutely phenomenal. With over 130 different scenarios between both games, you get a lot of the quality of life updates from 2 implemented into 1. Yes, you do lose a few things, but you know what? Those are minor gripes and complaints. Either way, I've had over 20 years of experience playing Roller Coaster Tycoon, and this game has sucked up so much of my time in 2024. Now, there were a lot, and I mean a lot, of games that were remastered or re-released or remade this year. And, you know, we can't go over them and give them all a ranking, but here are just some of our favorites that didn't make the cut. Braid Anniversary Edition is a wonderful throwback to that Xbox 360 arcade release in the summer of arcade. And wow, I have not seen that happen in a while. And if you never experienced Braid originally, this is a great way to go back and do it. I'm actually kind of surprised that it didn't just release it. But updated lighting, updated a few small visuals in the visual department, up to 4K if you're playing on PC, Xbox, or PS5, or just 1080 on Switch. This game is a classic. Another Code Recollection is a absolutely gorgeous remaster of the first and second game that we never got in the US. Now, these games were definitely not for me, but maybe you enjoyed them, and I enjoy puzzle games with the story, just didn't hit right for me this year. Maybe some other time later. Legend of Grimrock is a straight PC port of the original game that came out in late 2013. And honestly, seeing this re-released is fantastic. I love the game, but I would have loved to see a little bit more come out of it. El Shaddai Ascension of the Metatron is just a over-the-top, it's a classic. If you have missed out on the PS3 and Xbox 360 versions, this is a great way to go back and re-experience that Bayonetta style over-the-top, just everything just goes back crap crazy game. And as Star Wars fans, we all had a great year. As someone who has not upgraded to a PS5, Jedi Survivor was great, but that's not a retro game, but Star Wars Bounty Hunter definitely is. And the PS2 Classic returns with modern quality of life updates such as HD-ish visuals and a little bit more adjustments on the controls. But you know what, this game is just fantastic and great. However, it didn't do enough to warrant being in our top 10 this year. And of course, what else will we put but the GOAT, Paper Mario: 1,000 Year Door. Honestly, if Persona 3 Reload would have come to the Switch, it might have been a contender for the #1 spot. But Paper Mario: 1,000 Year Door is an absolute classic. It not only builds on the first game in so many various different ways and expands upon that, but this game just has so many updates as far as little quality of life features that it's just absolutely fantastic. Little things such as fast travel, being able to switch your partners quickly, those are huge improvements in my opinion. As well as, a new remix soundtrack's great, but having the original soundtrack there is always a welcome addition. Oh yeah, new items, new bosses, it's a completely updated version of this game in the best way possible. And did I mention it's in 16:9? What retro games did you enjoy playing this year? We definitely want to cover 2024 and take a look back, not just with the games that released physically and commercially, maybe even some of the eShop games, or maybe we need to take a look at some of the Nintendo Switch Online titles. We absolutely had a blast going back and reliving a ton of great, phenomenal classics, and we hope you did too. Hey, here's to 2025 being a better year than 2024. We have the Switch 2 to look forward to, as well as many, 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 many other great games coming out soon. We hope that you have a wonderful and blessed day. We know life, kids, work, it all gets out of control sometimes. Don't let your gaming be.